Hello, everyone, and welcome to Snap Take. This is Glazer of Snap Judgments, the official podcast of Marvel Snap Zone. And as always, we have 4 brand new decks for you. We're going to begin, as has become tradition on the day of the new card, with talking about a really cool deck from somebody with that new card. Misery will be out later today, a 4/7 that re-triggers an on reveal and then destroys that re-triggered on reveal. This card seems easily and obviously insanely strong with Hood. So what happens if we can use this card along with Absorb Man to get an absolutely insane amount of Hoods? Well, we can play them with Black Swan, we can make them bigger with Patriot, and then we can take care of anything that still gets too big for us with Valkyrie, and thus a deck was born. Thank you to Iron Cloak of the I wrote Ironside here. Thank you to Iron Cloak of the Marvel Snap Zone Discord for sending me this list. You do need all the high series stuff here. Although I think you are able to try without Hope. Hope is very important. Hope is very powerful here. Basically, if you don't end up getting your Black Swan, you want to be playing multiple cards on Hope so you have enough energy to really go off on the last turn of the game. And without Hope, you're going to have a really hard time doing that. You can try Psylocke in that spot, but it's going to be significantly worse. What Psylocke does offer you that Hope does not, though, is an extra card that you could end up playing on a Wong, or an extra thing that you could end up destroying with Misery in order to get that extra energy. So there is some value in that change. This does seem extremely cool. So turn 1, you want to play Echo. You probably want to hold most of your other ones. Turn 2, you want Black Swan. Black Swan is like your absolute priority play on turn 2 or turn 3. Swan is that important here. You want Patriot or Hope on turn 3 if you got Swan out. Turn 4, you can drop Misery on Hood if you had to play a Hood early, but ideally you're playing a Wong. After you Wong, you drop Hood on Wong, and then you either Misery or Absorbing Man, ideally Misery, on both, and then you trigger the Black Swan. Now you have like 3 or 4 free demons and Valkyrie to win the game. If you don't end up having the Black Swan, you can just play a bunch of demons and Patriot and be fine. If you don't end up having the Valkyrie, you can play free demons and double Doom on Wong. So you have plenty of options here to get an absolute ton of power out. I think this seems so cool. This is where I am starting with this deck. I love this kind of like crazy combo. This is the exact kind of thing I was looking for Misery. It seems really interesting. So we're going to talk about the return of Shuri Red Skull, but first, one last look at this genuinely brilliant Iron Cloak list, where you can kick it off with so many hoods. 8 power hoods. If you can get 3 or 4 8-power hoods, right, that are free at the end of the game, you just pulled off just absolute victory, right? The opponent cannot stop that in most games, and you should win. You have Echo so that you can make sure you can Valkyrie a lane safely, and you can still play it perfectly for free. If you have Prio, like so much good stuff happening with this list. Try it out. I'm going to try it out basically as soon as I get my hands on Misery at 3 p.m. Eastern. Hey, if you're willing to, please hit that sub, like, and comment. We're trying to hit 15,000 subs by the end of this year, 2024. We're at 14,000. We're so close. And we just need some extra support from you, dear viewers, to help us get there. In return, we do 7 days a week at least of Marvel Snap content. This week, now that I realize it's an OTA week, we'll have 9 videos. 4 decks in every single video at the very least. Giant podcast with Marvel Snap's biggest names. Sub, like, comment, you will stay ahead of the meta. The top players in Marvel Snap watch these videos. Join them in keeping on top of the meta with me every day. In addition, your like and comment, as long as you're subbed, can lead to you winning a season pass. We give away 10 season passes the first 2 weeks of the season. It is not the first 2 weeks anymore, so we're giving away 1 a week for the remainder of the season. All you have to do is sub and like, and then later in this video, I'm going to ask a question. You comment the answer to that question, and you are entered to win a season pass. 1 video this week's comments will carry a season pass winner. All right, Shuri Enjoyer, the great Shuri Enjoyer, Brazilian player who's one of the top players in the world, has been near the top of the Infinite Leaderboard for an absolute ton of seasons, has messaged me and gone, I think Shuri Red Skull's back. Uh-oh, I think so too. This Shuri Red Skull deck is absolutely through the roof power. It is stellar. There's a million ways to play this, a million ways to win. It still puts up enough power to compete with almost anything in the meta. You're probably, against like the hardcore bounce stuff, going to need to be careful with your Cosmo, but against almost anything else, you just get so big and so tall, like the opponent's really going to have a hard time, and you get very unpredictable. That's what Adanya is here for. The other beautiful thing about this list is there's exactly one Series 5 card. It is Aranya. No Series 4 cards. Everything else is Series 3 or lower. This is the ultimate budget deck. This is around the top 10 of the Infinite Leaderboard right now. This is a deck to absolutely play immediately. So you can find Shuri Enjoyer at twitter.com/Shuri Enjoyer. Twitter's not back in Brazil yet, but I heard somewhere that it was going to be relatively soon, and that'll be the only place to really find Shuri Enjoyer. You don't really need any cards. Aranya can be Madam Web, or you can try, if necessary, Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is worse in many situations, but that's why it's a card replacement, not in the deck in the first place. So again, a top 10 deck. We're back to top 10 from literally over a year ago with Shuri Red Skull. Turn 1, you just want to drop Aranya, or you can do 0 for Maw or 0 for Lizard. Turn 2, you would like to armor. Armor is more important than Lizard. Armor is more important than the early Aranya. Just getting armor out is really, really strong for this list. Turn 3, you'd like to Sauron, and that's generally better than Cosmo. Although if you had Aranya out, I might put Cosmo first. You want to make sure you play Cosmo right, center, or right in a safe lane, because you want a Shuri in the lane to the left of Cosmo. Because what you can do is you can play your card on Shuri, your Red Skull, your Typhoid Mary, your whatever. You can trigger Aranya on that card. It's going to get the immediate Shuri buff before it reveals, then get 2 more power and get punched to the right into that Cosmo lane where it is safe. Especially if you have an extra armor lane, you can then Taskmaster into that armor lane and be completely untouchable, dropping 30 power into lanes. Yep. But say, sometimes you just play Sauron, and sometimes you just play a 410 and then a 514, and then you copy that 514, or you play Shuri and then you get a copy of Vision. You have a 16 power Vision that you can copy, and that Vision goes to an unpredictable location. There's many a way to win with this list. It is really, really strong. This is, again, enough power to actually compete in the current Marvel Snap meta in a very real and meaningful way. Do give it a try. Cool. Next up, we're going to talk about the new tournament-winning arishem from the new Queen of Snap. But first, one last look at this. Don't hesitate, especially, obviously, if you get Sauron out and you don't see Taskmaster, right? You can go Shuri, Vision, Red Skull, and Ebony Maw. Or Shuri, Red Skull, Vision, and Ebony Maw to end the game. There are a ton of ways to put out a crazy amount of power with this list. Don't hesitate to mix and match. This is a top meta deck again, and one that I urge you to give a try to if you're trying to climb, especially if you're pre-infinite. This should destroy 90% of the pre-infinite meta. All right, let's do the Caught Red-Handed bundle guide before we talk about the new Queen of Snap. For $15, and it was overpriced by accident at $20. For $15, you get 1,500 gold, a webbed red card border, and a Carnage variant. This is a 2-year anniversary celebration bundle, and thus it is amazing value. Remember that 172% is our baseline for this is an okay to good buy for cash, and then 200% is like this is a great buy, and anything above 200%, when we get to 216%, this is a must buy, excellent bundle. Guess what? Caught red-handed, must buy, excellent bundle, through the roof value. If you have any interest in spending $15 on Marvel Snap outside of the season pass, this is about as good as it gets. Please do check out Caught Red-Handed. Hey, if you'd like to see gameplay from these decks, including that awesome Shuri deck, please check out the stream team. Today is Tuesday, so at about noon, the great Prashaun will be streaming. He'll also hopefully be giving that new Misery deck a try a little later in the day. So if you're interested in checking out Prashaun streams, please do so. Also, Gregor2424 should have a video up, as should Obihaved, with previous day's decks. So if you want to see some gameplay from these decks, please do check out my friends. They could use the support. They're awesome humans. Next up, we have arishem. You got it. It's Ree. It's just Ree. Has won the all-women's tournament, becoming the new Queen of Marvel Snap. Absolutely stellar frickin' play. You can find that tournament on the Power on Gaming Twitch, but she won with arishem. Everyone was assigned to women cards. Ree was assigned Scarlet Witch and She-Hulk, and then she built an arishem deck around that, sort of saying, well, if I've got She-Hulk, I really like High Evolutionary, but I've got arishem, so if I end up passing on turn 5, I can go She-Hulk and Alioth or She-Hulk and Hulk, and that means you have Sunspot, and there's just a ton of brilliant ideas here, and this deck is super duper cool. You can find Ree at twitch.tv/itsjustree, or you can check out my single favorite Marvel Snap podcast. No offense to my lovely friend Snap Decisions is fire. Oh my god, I'm not going to start listing. I'm going to have to list 15 of them. But my single favorite is Ree, Lauren Whatevs, and Ben Roller's podcast at It's called Snap on This. You can find it at YouTube on Snap on This Pod or whatever podcatcher you want. So please do check out my friends. They are wonderful. This community is so great. If you're not like involved in the community, if you're like, I just watch a couple YouTube videos, that's fine, right? Like follow your heart. But this community has some absolutely stellar people in it, and you're doing yourself a disservice if you don't explore it just a little bit more. All right, so you need Arishem, Mockingbird, and Goliath. Ree was assigned Scarlet Witch and She-Hulk, but they were kind of awesome, so I don't think I would change them. Scarlet Witch being just so much cheaper, and Arishem deck is, I think, a thing we kind of forgot. If you don't want to run it, you can run like a Cable. We could also probably do without the high Evo package, but it works, and it would change the deck fundamentally. You can make it like a Red Hulk and a Coulson or something along those lines if you want to go a little more traditional with Arishem. It doesn't matter, that's fine. As long as you have Arishem, Mockingbird, and Goliath, you're good. So again, this one, the Power on Women's Invitational, Ree played so freaking unbelievably well. She's a stellar player and a stellar human being. Turn 1, you want to play Quinjet and Sunspot if you have them both. Turn 2, Cyclops, nice and early is fine. You can always pass, gain some power on Sunspot, and Cyclops on turn 3 for the immediate trigger. If you did pass on turn 2, by the way, you get a turn 3 She-Hulk, which seems like it's probably pretty freaking good. Sometimes you've played some generated stuff, you got Mockingbird, and sometimes you just play a High Evo, because Evo is fundamentally an Arishem of 3/6, right? Turn 4, it starts to be realistic to play Mockingbird, but you can play sort of whatever you want. Don't hesitate to Enchantress if you see the right target reasonably early. Turn 5 and 6 are both just kind of Hulk Goliath turns, and you mix in a Mockingbird, you mix in this, that, the other thing where you can. Hulk still gets big enough to really, really matter, and Goliath is obviously a game-winning card right now. We're going to take one last look at this, and once more, we're going to prop my friend Ree, who is an absolute freaking beast of a player, even if she'll never admit that. Just genuinely, like, we watched her games. I watched the tournament all day on Sunday, and every game I was like, she is in such control of this game. Like, just outpowering opponents, outthinking opponents, great. So next up, we're going to do a secret 70% win rate junk deck that you have to try that I think secretly get better, but we'll talk about that right after one last look at arishem. Get it? This amazing deck. So give it some go. All right, if you're interested in trying out Pokemon Pocket, it's a new Marvel Snap like Pokemon game that's coming out on October 30th, but there's some early access stuff if you live in New Zealand. We've got some content coming out for that, so if you're interested, please check it out. We're really going to dive in once the game comes out, and it's not being a giant pain in the ass to like actually like get things done for it. But we've got a Pokemon Pocket Meta channel. Please check it out. Just type in the Pocket Meta Pulse Glazer or check the description of this video. And your season pass question: what are your thoughts on Junk and Clog? How will Misery affect them? Will Misery go in Junk and Clog, or will Misery kill Junk and Clog because you can't really run goblins if it's all over the place? And more than that, outside of the Misery specific question, are these cards in a good place, or are they just too strong right now? I'm asking this specifically because I may be a little annoyed at Clog. I may have been playing some fun decks at around rank 600 and run into like 5 or 6 Clog decks in a row and be a little annoyed at it. You don't have to agree with me, though. I don't think it's a problem. I think I just hit a bad, obnoxious run with decks that were not built for it. All right, so we've got Yakublevich. Spelled it wrong. Yakublevich, not bitch. Clog. This is a stellar Clog list that puts enough power to compete. Thank you to Thena and Sage for that. And it is just a really, really good list. This is very, very, very hard to beat. It runs basically every single bit of Clog. Kate, Bishop, and Thena remain amazing synergy, where if you don't really have anything else to do, you can go Kate into Thena and just go to town. You can find Yakublevich streaming all the time at twitch.tv/Yakublevich. He is awesome, genuinely phenomenal player. So you need Kitty, Thena, White Widow, and Cannonball for this list. Sage can be Wolfsbane or Gladiator, and Kate can be Angela or Nebula. You probably want to keep Kate, but you'll be fine if you don't have her. Acid Arrow is just too good in this kind of list, and it's really, really great Thena synergy. This has a 73% win rate in 70 games. That's absurd, considering Yakublevich is a top 100 level player. So this is just, again, through the roof stats. So turn 1, you want Kitty. You don't play Titania early. Turn 2, you want Widow, which is more or less equal to Kate, and that's better than Thena. Turn 3, you want a 2+1. And this is where the 1 can be Kitty or it can be Titania. If you feel like you can get the Clog card plus Titania to clog something, you should do so. It's like an auto win with Cannonball. That 2+1 is, if you don't see that, Goblin and Debris are totally fine. And Debris is part of why I think that Misery might be busted in this kind of deck. Turn 4, you're fine playing Doc Ock if you can clog again, or you can play Goblin or Debris with Titania. Again, perfectly fine, any of these options. Yes, I again would like to go like Kate into Arrow and White Widow on 3, and then I can play Titania and Debris, or Titania and Goblin even better on turn 4, and that's what I'd like to do. And if I don't get that play out till turn 5, then Dr. Octopus and Titania are fine. You can also do the Goblin or Debris with White Widow, perfectly fine on turn 5. That's why you don't have to overstress White Widow early. She fits into the curve better than you would think. Then you can play Cannibal in 1 or Shang in 2, and sometimes that 2 is Shadow King. You mix and match at the end of the game. Cannibal is very often an auto win. Like, you basically Cannibal, and then you play Kitty to reclaim your Titania, and the game is over. Really, really simple and insanely strong, and it's shockingly good into the meta. Even though Bounce should be a bad matchup, this is so good at Clog that Bounce really, really has a hard time with it. Cannot urge you to play this enough. Yakublevich, Clog. Questions of the day, and then we're out of here. Dragono asks what deck I'd like to see back in the meta, and I think that's really great because what we saw back in the meta in this very video was Shuri Red Skull. I mean, the deck I'd honestly like to see back, and I'm going to get yelled at for this, I miss Loki being a playable card. I don't think 2/2 Loki is any good. I think he could conceivably be a 2/3, even a 2/4, and be totally fine. I don't like Loki being dead. I think each version of Loki, while being too strong, isn't something I wanted not to exist. I wanted it to be something that was brought into line. And I always had a really good time playing Loki several seasons. My highest win rate deck was various Loki builds. I wish we had some kind of Loki back. My answer was almost Thanos, but I'm still not ready to deal with Thanos again. My problem with Thanos is if Thanos is good, then every card they print sort of becomes a broken in Thanos card, and I don't really need that in my life again. Philip Racco wants to know my favorite horror film and what I generally think of horror. All right, let's do what I generally think of horror. I don't really enjoy it. I'm not scared of it. I just mostly get kind of bored. A lot of what horror does, there's a certain type of fiction, and this was my problem with like The Office. It's my problem with a lot of things. I know The Office is a weird thing to compare, but I need a character I like, and horror very often doesn't really give me characters to like. Everyone's kind of terrible, which is how they sort of justify the horror, or kind of a moron. And if I don't like characters, I have a really hard time being invested in the story, no matter what else is happening. Thus, I don't really get into horror. When terrible things start happening to people I don't really like, I'm bored, not engaged. And like that's not a real life thing. I don't have to like people in real life to be engaged in their hoping for their well-being. But in film and fiction, I do. I don't enjoy watching people I don't like. And horror is like rife with that. The only horror movies I really, really love are the first 2 Halloween movies. I thought they were genuinely fantastic and stellar. Alien is also excellent and holds up shockingly well. But there are very, very few horror movies I really enjoy. If you have any recommendations, though, I'm more than willing to listen. Yeah, I don't know. It's not for me. Or at least a lot of it hasn't been for me. I'm willing to give it a chance. My wife would watch it if it was. My wife enjoys horror. We don't often watch it together because I just sort of get bored and end up playing on my phone. But if you have some good recommendations with like actual likable characters for horror, I'd happily give that a check out. Hey, we have a Patreon. If you're interested in our Patreon, please check it out at patreon.com/snapjudgments. We offer some pretty cool stuff. Let's go through our Patreon. I'd like to say thank you to Abigail Kiesland, Mandatory Burnout, Regardless, David G. Wingfield, Direwolf, LAB, FaThorNewman, Good Dog Gamer, Inc., I Am Frostman, Jane Everett, Corwin, Primed Ryan, hey Ryan, we talked earlier, Ryan Burke, Caretix Lee, the King of Questions, Koire, who hasn't given me any questions. Caretix Lee, you're losing your title because you don't give me questions anymore. Koire, Black Dahlia, Irophros, The Goat Seeker, Den Man Falcon, Archangel 3K, Hollowed, not Hollow Wicked, Hollowed, Quid Pro Jopie, Docty, the King of New Moral Snack Card Content, Fat Nick, Mr. Kerfuffle, Ginger Prime, Hey Ginge, Philip Rakovich, Haplo, Kenny Loggins of the Danger Zone, Rob Silverman, The Notorious Bizza, Xworth V, and Skippy G, Tommy Nyquist, who won Snapchat was League Season 1, The King of Bros, bruh, saw you in Sizer stream earlier, bruh, The Great Kazoo, wah, Jessica Campbell, hello Jess, Woody, Kev Cihoda, Luna Chris, Quantum Quinn, John Q, and Jimmy McHugh, Q-Town, Glam, Ace Age, Mod Supreme Models, the one and only Darth Hater, No Joke A Joe P, not Quid Pro Joe P, different Joe P. Steven, Brian Kaufman, Tristan H. Martin, and Jason Frickin' B, J. D. McDonaldino, the Fuzzy Dunlop, Spectrum X, Hoot, Matt H, DJ Mackie Hijinks, No Flex, Ocularis, Mr. Craig Sterry, B. G. Jonesy, check out the triple threat, y'all. Two Ties, the great Lauren Debs. Hey, Lauren. The Pirate King Tuccrr. Hey, Tuck. The homie Min. Oh, we miss you. And of course, getting to hear what the T stands for. I spent like 3 hours today that I didn't have trying to get my audio right for this. Pretty please tell me it's okay. Let me know in the comments. Apparently, I can't actually hear when it's wrong because I'm insane. I hear what I think I hear. So let me know what you think of the audio in this video, and if you don't like it, I'll fix it again for tomorrow. But also, please check out the Pokemon channel. Please check out yesterday's Snap video, and know how much I appreciate y'all. See you tomorrow for another Snap Take. Peace.